And it's harder to catch yourself in. It can be a lot harder to come back down out of. And dialectic toast, it is still valid. But Greta, no, really, listen. You do not get to pick your immediate reaction to a bad feeling, gut feeling kind of situation. Because your brain is wired in such a way that it bypasses every single decision-making cortex and goes right to the emotional, primal, very early part of the brain. And you can only later bring on the decision maker and say, okay, do I want to do this or want to do something else? You don't get to immediately, you don't get to pick that immediate reaction. So whatever you do, it's valid. You might not like it, and it might be the thing that you do. And you don't get to pick that immediate reaction. Does that mean that you're stuck doing whatever fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Does that mean you're stuck doing it? Especially for some people say, I'm a freeze person, I'm a fight person, I'm a flight person, I'm a fawn person. That's not necessarily true. Sure, you might find yourself in similar situations, you react the same, but in different situations you might react completely differently, and so you're not expected because you're used to dealing with the other one. So do you have to just lie down and say, I can't help it, that's the way I am, I fight? No, you don't. Like, you can pick an action. Again, you might decide, no, this was appropriate for the situation. This really helped out. And because your brain told your body what it needed to do at the time, and so you might decide, no, maybe I'll tweak it a bit, but this was the right track. Thanks, brain. Fist bump. That didn't work. And so then you can make a more plan-based to continue in that path or to not. Again, every situation is different, and I'm not you. Here's the catch. Only after you accept that what you did at first is valid, is still valid. You can't shut any witch in an oven if you're too busy shaming yourself, beating yourself up, freaking out that it was the wrong reaction. What am I supposed to do with this? There is no wrong reaction. There's only, if you want to look at it that way, there's only a wrong action, which is beating yourself up, because that leads to reacting to the situation and not acting. But again, you're still valid if you just have to react to certain things and you can't act. And don't shame other people's reaction. If someone tells you they got into a fight, or they ran away from a fight, or they did all these things, it's still valid for them. And if you could dive into their brain, and the amygdala specifically is the one that is in charge of all of this, then you would probably understand why they're doing what they're doing. Granted, does that mean you can't still help them to an action or trying to find a different reaction if it's a consistent problem? No, you can still try. And so if you're just surviving this quarantine, if you're just reacting to this quarantine and this pandemic, and you really don't, you're not taking some big actions like writing a book, or if you're just surviving day to day, or maybe not surviving so great, maybe you're really struggling, and that's valid. All the memes that say if you don't come out of this with some big project or quest completed, then you didn't lack time, you just lacked discipline. Those are people that are jumping into this. They're throwing themselves into it, and that's how they're coping. If you're coping and reacting in a different way with one of the 4 different Fs, then that's valid. You're valid. That's my point. Is that you can do hard things, and you can shut witches in ovens. You can do what you need to be safe once you accept that you're valid. You're valid. And it's also valid, dialectic toast, to not accept that you're valid, because that's where you're at right now. It sucks, but you're there, and I'm with you. I feel you. You're okay. This has been Grim Advice with Gretta Myers. Thank you for joining us for this happily ever after, or not so happily ever after. That's up to you. Either way, this is the end for the episode, so tune in later to learn more, and we can turn a new page together.